Hi, Professor. So I wanted to go over all my projects again, and I downloaded a new IDE. This is PyCharm, which automatically puts it in .py format. But when I save it as a .py format, you'll see that something isn't working correctly. And I'll go through each project and show you what's not working correctly. It's typically at the end when I click done, and I want the output to be received that it's not working right. So here, once again, this is my first project. These are the annotations. This is extra credit number 2, as seen up here. So first, I do the drop-down menu. Are you converting Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius? Response equals none, while response is not in 1.tfo or 2.fotc. So that's essentially saying it has to be one of those two answers. And then I request an input of please enter one of those two options, of these two options up here. Up here. Sorry, it's hard to film and do this at the same time. And then next I try to do a try and accept input. So what I'm doing here is I'm asking for the input of temperature they'd like to convert after they selected whether they want it to be Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius. And if they put anything other than a number, it'll say needs to be real number, please try again. And then I do my if function for if response equals Celsius to Fahrenheit. Then Fahrenheit equals temperature times 1.8 plus 32, and I'll print the Fahrenheit. Now, if anything else, I'll do Celsius. And I did some defining functions down here that I couldn't incorporate into the actual loop itself, if else statement. And, I just wanted to show you how I would have done it if they were communicating with each other. But down here, I'll actually run my project by clicking the play button up here. That's how it runs in this IDE. Here, actually, if I go here, I'll actually run this project, not some other one. So, oops. Okay, run. All right. So first it asks me for CTF, CTOF or FTOC. So I have to do 1.CTOF for Celsius. All right, and then I like to convert like 30 Celsius to Fahrenheit, and that's 86 Fahrenheit. Now, if I typed in, like, if I rerun it. Then I tried like to break it a little bit, so I'll do the same of 1.CTOF, and then this time instead of a temperature, I'll put like a letter. Be like, no, it needs to be a real one, so please try again. And then if I try 30 again, it'll still give me the input of 86, so I'll still run. And to show you what's going wrong, I have this over here. So when I save it as a .py file, my extra credit 2 is here. So it actually runs the program, and it'll say, are you converting Celsius to Fahrenheit or Celsius, whatever it may be. So I do exactly what I would do if I was actually running it on my PyCharm. And then I'll ask for the temperature. Once again, if I try to break it, it'll say, nope, it needs to be a real one. Try again, sir. Do 30, and when it's supposed to be 86 again, it just closes. And for the life of me, I don't know why it's giving me that input if it's working on the IDE itself. But you'll see that's a common theme with all these projects. So this is actually one that we went over on the other video as well. But just in case, this is Python Project 3. So we're trying to do inputs in to calculate hourly wage, including overtime. And we're using an if else statement. So we want to calculate total pay. This is very similar to the try and accept that we saw earlier. Once again, just another input. Then taking these. And then my if else is calculating one variation where I'm calculating hourly pay. If hours are over 40, then regular pay equals 40 plus times the normal rate. And then overtime is hours minus 40. So overtime pay equals overtime hours plus rate times overtime hours equals hours minus 40. So whatever's over 40, sorry about that. And then overtime pay equals overtime hours times rate times 1.5, so time and a half. Now if I run this project here, once again, we'll have a successful project. Please enter how many hours you worked. We'll do 56. And just to see if it will break, I do like F or something like that. I'll say invalid. I'll do R, say invalid. I do 20. Should be 1280, right? So this works here. And then I go to the Pi projects again, go to project 3. And it runs exactly how you would expect it over there. I'll do like 56. T, something to try and break it again. It says, no, try something, real. And I put, I'm paid $20 an hour. And instead of giving me my 1280, it closes the project. And you'll see that this is a common occurrence for all of them. So I'm sorry, there's another long video that I'm uploading, but at least hopefully it gives you some description of what's going wrong with these projects. And I'm walking you through all of them to show you that I've done the work and I know things work, and I care about my grade in this class a lot, as you'll see that I made all these videos for it. Alright, so my next one is Python project 5. Right, what was this one? Did I already do this one? Oh, this is the compute pay one. So using a function. Okay, so this is a very similar one, trying to compute overtime pay using compute pay. So a very similar format. So hours, I made hours 1 and rate 2. And then I made hours an absolute value, and I made rate an absolute value. So even if you put a negative figure, it would still work. And then I did define, and because you want to make sure the inputs are positive, so I did that with the absolute value function or tool. And then I define compute pay as hours and rate, and if the hours are less than or equal to 40, then total pay equals hours times rate, else total pay equals 40 times rate plus hours minus 40 times rate times 1.5. So then I'll return total pay. And I put print compute pay hours rate, so put the function in there, so I'll run. If I go over here, oh, didn't mean to do that. Okay, we go over here and we run it. Okay. How many hours did you work? So very similar to last time, make sure it works. We'll do 56. We'll do F. Oh, it needs to be a real number. Now we'll try a negative number like negative 20. And we'll still get 1280 because it's going to do an absolute value, because there's no such thing as negative pay, and it was like a user error. But we'll make sure the values are always positive. And if I go to over here, sorry. Where was I? I have a lot of tabs open, unfortunately. Let's see. This is how I opened it last time. Show and explore. So project 4. Once again, how many hours did you work? 56. R debugs it, does that, and then negative 20. And then once again, I won't get my output, and I don't understand why I'm not getting my output for these. These are all the same files, still working, but just not receiving them. Then we have Python project 5. Here we have the project where we are trying to get an average. So count the numbers that are being inputted, count how many have been inputted, average them, and sum them. And I did this with first taking some variables and asking for, and we have these variables that are starting at 0 that we're going to add to as the program runs. So I equals input, and then if I equals done, it will break and I'll end the program. And it's going to try to do a total, which is adding up the float inputs. So all these are integers. So if it's 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6. And then below that, that's counting plus 1 for each. So that's just like if it's 1, 2, 3, that's 3 total being counted. That's this portion here. And then accept value errors, and that will make if it's not a number, to ask the user for another number. And then below here, I'll have it do an average equals total divided by count, and then I'll print numbers whose total is %s, which is the strings that I'll be inputting, and average is .s. So it's just this is an input for each new input I have here. If there's 3 of them, there has to be 3 of these. So if I run this, it's going to ask for a number. So I'll do 1, 2. We'll try like F again to break it. Just ask for another number, so like 3, and then 4. And then this time I'll just do done, make sure it runs here, Oh, I didn't finish that, but don't worry, I can just actually write done there, and it'll work here. You entered 4 numbers whose total is 10 and average is 2.5. So it works here, hypothetically, for project Python, Python project number 5. I go over here, and I'll enter my numbers here, just like I did over there. 1, 2, 3, like an F, like an R, and then do done. And it'll close instead of giving me my output. And once again, it's super frustrating because I'm not sure why it's continuing to do that. And then my last project's the big one, the Python final project. So here, it's very similar to the last project, except you want to find the largest and smallest. So for that, I take a variable called num. And well, the beginning is very similar to the last, in where I'm trying to do a sum of adding up all the float inputs and a count adding up each new input. So just like how we did last time. And now num's a float input, and what we're doing with that is if largest is like we're making these two sections here be a checker to see if num, any new input, is larger than the largest num that's existed previously, or smallest than the previous smallest num that's existed previously. We scroll down to the bottom, then I'm doing my average, sum divided by count, and the difference, which is the largest from smallest, otherwise known as the range. And I have a similar setup to the last problem, except I also have 2 other prints for minimum and maximum. This is the final project. So if I go up here and I run my final project, we'll do a similar set to the data set we did last time. Do R, try to break it. F, try to break it. None of that breaks it. So we'll do like 3, that works. Then 4, that works. And I do done, and all that works. And if I go, it's super frustrating. So you entered 4 numbers whose total is 10 and average is 2.5 and range is 3.0. So if I go here and I try to run my final project, very similar scenario. Here, I'll just get to like the gist of it. I'll try to break it like once with R to show you that it is taking like some of my logic that I've written, but for some reason it's not saving in that regard. It's just closing instead of giving me my output, and I don't know where that's going. Professor, I care about my grade in this class a lot, and I hope I'm gonna send you these files, but I'm also gonna send you this video, and I hope you watch it, and I hope you understand my frustrations, and that I do care about this class. Well, thank you for your time, and please let me know if you see anything that I'm doing wrong. I just want to show you my work and show you that I have been doing everything, and it's been seen as my grade was in this class previously to this section. So thank you.